Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. You're watching it Deep on the Delta, and I am at the workbench of Gabe Nahas. And Gabe is the man behind Bigg Nasty Baits.
Yes,
and man, if you haven't checked these out, you've got to check them out. I saw these things over at the pro shop about a month ago, and I said, man, these are cool looking baits. So I talked to Gabe, and Gabe's not only a bait maker, but he's nice enough to show start to finish what he's doing here. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about Gabe's baits. We're going to talk about how you fish them. We're going to talk about how Gabe makes the baits. And you know, Gabe, from talking to you, you just don't learn this stuff on the internet. You are a full-time guy now, right? 40 hours plus a week just making baits.
I am. I'm all in for sure on baits.
Yeah, and it's taken you a while to learn the basics. You can learn a little bit here, a little bit there. But for you guys that are thinking about making baits and getting into these injection style baits with molds, we're going to go over real quick from start to finish how the process works, and it's not as easy as you think it is. There's a lot of trade secrets that you basically just have to put in your time and effort and get in and work at it. So Gabe, it starts off, you wanted to be a bait maker, you had an idea, and Gabe is concentrating on rats and bluegill.
Yep.
So you've got these ideas, you put them on paper. Now you kind of know what you want to do. So just kind of go through the quick steps of taking it from a wood mold to the having the plastic mold, or not the silicone mold, to the paint. So how does it start? How does it finish?
So I come up with an idea, whether it be, you know, a rat style bait or a bluegill style bait or a shad style bait. I'll draw it out, kind of draw it up, and then I'll grab a piece of wood and just start carving at it. These are my hand carved masters. This doesn't look like wood, but it's wood underneath. It's just primer to clean it up so it's cleaner in the mold. From there, I send this to my guy Jacob Rowinski from Row Innovations over on the East Coast, and he throws it, the master mold, into a computer, 3D images it and mirrors it and cleans it up a little bit, balances it out for me, adds little details here and there, adds branding. You can see there the nasty branding on the side. You know, that'd be super hard for me to do by hand, and you know, he's got the fancy computers to do it. So he makes a master, he makes his own master, and then he makes my actual silicone molds for me right here, which has my hardware, which in turn helps me crank them out in production, because everything's right there and ready to go. I don't have to kind of fidget around and find out where this screw hole goes or where this line tie goes. It's there, it's ready. I open mold, I screw it in, and I assemble and start sanding and painting. And
I'm going to stop you right there, Gabe, because one thing that I want you guys to know, especially if you're just getting into not making baits but buying baits, because of this process, you get about 100 pores out of each mold.
Yep.
Okay, so there's 2 points that come to my mind as a fisherman when you're buying an injection molded bait. Number one is the price point is going to be a little lower. Doesn't mean that the quality's not there. It's just that it means that a guy like Gabe can pour these into the molds and get, you know, I don't know, how many do you do at a time?
30 to 60. Right.
30 to 60 rather than hand carving them. So the price point's a little better. And the other thing, because these molds are just, I mean, I'm looking at these things and they are incredibly detailed, and I'm looking at his blanks that come out of these things and the tails and stuff. Everyone is exactly the same. So if you were to buy this bluegill and you really liked it, and let's just say you lost it on a double-digit fish and you had to have another one, you're going to get, the second one is going to be exactly the same. It's going to run exactly the same. And depending on the bait carvers or the guys that are doing these by hand, everyone might be a little different. Now, that could be a bonus because it is a one-of-a-kind type of bait, and it could be a deterrent sometimes. So a couple of advantages of the molded baits. So you take this from start to finish. Once you get these things, I see you got another third point on this. plastic. It's not. It's what is this?
Resin.
It's resin. These things are bulletproof. I mean, you could break a bill, and we'll talk about if you break a bill off. These are Lexon bills. Gabe can replace them for you. They can be replaced, but they're pretty darn tough baits. You can knock them around. A fish isn't going to tear these things up unless you're fishing for tuna or something. So some advantages here. Once you get your molds done and everything, you put them together. You're doing all the paint custom on these.
Custom paint.
And you can really do a custom paint job if somebody, I imagine there's an upgrade price for a custom paint job, but you will work on paint with somebody. Beautiful baits. I'll have some of these in the water so we can watch these running, and just you guys can see how amazing these things look in the water. And again, rats and bluegill in the Delta. These are two baits. You don't hear a lot about them because a lot of people don't throw them, and they are not a high percentage bait. But if you're looking for those fish that are 8, 9, 10, you're looking for the fish of a lifetime, these are what you want to be using. And on this particular, obviously the rat is a surface bait. It's a weight bait. He has two designs on the bluegill, and this one has the bent lip here, and this runs 4 to 6 feet.
Yep.
And if he also has, that's a standard bill, you can get it with a standard bill, and this turns into a weight bait.
Yep.
So, you specify that when you buy these things, and they're in demand. So if you want one, Gabe, I know you put these, you sell them through your Instagram, and you drop these baits from time to time. Tell these folks how you can get the baits, and maybe give them a little insight on when you drop them or when they know they're going to drop, so if they want one, they can get an order in.
Okay. Yeah, so I do it about every couple months. I'll do a drop, and what a drop is just I have a bunch of baits made and ready to go. I'll kind of hint to you a couple days before when they're going to come out, and one day I'll just be like, all right, here they are, guys, go at it. So that's what a bait drop is. So be checking my Instagram or Facebook and for drops, and you can reach them to purchase them, biggnastybaits.biggcartel.com. That's the Big Cartel website, and just go to the Big Cartel website and put in Bigg Nasty Baits, and you'll find us there. And you'll see it's cool. It's like a little Shopify or Etsy type shop. It has all the rats and hats and beanies and stickers and all the good stuff that you can buy from us. All
right. So that's how you get these. What's the price point on these guys? I talked about the price point for a rat. What's a rat cost?
So a rat's about $65 to $70, and then we have, this is a 3-piece diver, and we also have a 2-piece wake, and those go from $75 to $80 as well.
And that's a steal when it comes to basically a custom made wake bait or bait of this time, especially when you're talking about custom paint and everything. And I know this light really doesn't do justice to your paint. I've talked to Gabe and a number of bait makers, and Gabe says, you know what? Throw those things in the slop, get them where you need to throw them to catch big bass. Yep. If you happen to break a lip on them, he can replace that for you.
100%.
If you start getting them eaten up by fish and you send this thing back in a year with the paint all wore off, he's going to be more than happy to help you out, figure out how you're going to get this thing back to normal. Although a lot of times, and you might slap me for saying this, if you get a fish that eats the paint off of these things, that's a good thing. Sometimes as they get scratched up and marred up, they seem to catch more fish.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody likes throwing them, when they're nice and shiny. But they can be repainted. And a bait like this can, it can be broken off on one big fish. That's your fault. You don't tie in knots. You're not using the heavy enough line.
Yeah.
You can throw them on a rock. That's my fault or your fault. But in standard fishing conditions, these will catch tons and tons of fish. And they're not a high percentage bait, but like I said, these things catch big fish, and you can use them for a long time. So the price of one of these is not like going out and buying a bag of Cincos that you're going to buy another bag next week. I've had a lot of swim baits for many years, and luckily I have, those are ones that are kind of family to me, and
Yeah.
I'm probably a little more discreet on where I throw those baits because I don't want to lose them. But they're meant to be used.
yeah.
They are pieces of art, but they catch fish, and they're meant to be used. There's another thing I want to talk about: toxic baits. Their toxic bait weekend over at Russo's. I think it's going to be in September. Gabe's going to be over there, and that's just a group of custom bait makers. If you guys don't know about that, I'm going to definitely talk to Caesar over at Toxic. And if you're watching the channel, I'll make sure that you guys know the dates, and you're going to be out there all 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, so look for it in September at Russo's Marina. Caesar throws the Toxic Day. So last year was 3, so next one will be Toxic Day 4. Great event, a lot of people, good food, good community, good fishing culture, good bait makers.
A lot of bass talk.
Oh
and,
man, it's all fishing, like from head to toe. Shirts, beanies.
Bring your
everything.
wallet.
Yeah, oh yeah. Bring a wallet for sure.
So,
yeah.
All right. Well, Gabe, thanks for all the
Thanks,
information.
Steve.
And man, I can't wait to get these on the Delta.
I'm
and I'll be
excited.
sending you a picture with. Could be a 9-inch fish, but I'm hoping a 9-pound fish with
Yeah,
something
me
like this
too.
as well.
Sure.
So guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit me up with a comment. I'll let Gabe know what you think about these things, and heck, we'll see you on the water. We'll be on the boat with you, Gabe.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks a lot. Take it easy, guys.